Hi you guys, so this will be my last video for you guys, and in the past I have made videos trying to stay kind of in line with what I taught you guys in class, or like what my lessons were on in class, but today I wanted to try to give you guys some information that maybe you could take on with you in the future. So maybe you can take it to 6th grade, you can use it in high school. I use it in college, so when you guys go to college you could use it even then. So what I'm going to be teaching you guys today is a fun little way to make study guides. So I'm sure you guys have lots of notes that you go through, and you have exams and whatever, and this is my personal method of taking information from textbooks, notes, PowerPoints, whatever it may be, and then compressing it into one thing that is just a really beneficial way of studying. So I'm going to start off by saying that there are 3 different ways that you can do this. You can do this online, so I'm going to show you a way that you can find templates online and you can just fill them in online. You can use a computer, tablet, maybe you could use a phone. I'm not sure if that would work out very well, but you can do it online. Another way is to find a template online for a study guide and then print it off and then write it in by hand. And then my personal favorite way of doing it is I like to kind of draw them out. I don't know if you can see this very well, but I like to draw them out by hand. And the reason that I like this method better is someone's car alarm is going off. So the reason that I like to do this by hand is because I've found that if I actually write the information down instead of typing it, I retain the information a lot better, so it kind of helps me memorize it, and the fact that you're kind of compressing all this information down and you're reading it, and then you're going through and planning it all out and making little boxes for everything, and especially things like diagrams. Like, for example, if you had to put a diagram in on one that was online, you would just like copy and paste the diagram, right? But for things like this, you would actually draw out the diagram, and it would take a little bit of time, but you would definitely remember it, right? So yeah, so I'm going to start off by telling you guys what tools you need. So for the first one, of course, that's online, all you need is a computer. And then for the second one, if you want to print one off, all you would need is like pens, pencils, highlighters, that kind of thing. But if you want to do one like this, all you need is like printer paper. This one is actually cardstock because that's what I like to use. I'm not sure why, it's just feels more sturdy. And I like to use little rulers so that I can make my lines nice and straight. And then, as I said before, I like to use little highlighters so that I can highlight things that are important, or like for here I highlighted like the boxes around this diagram, and I put this in color so that, I don't know, just so that it would look cool, and things like that. So, and then you'll need just pens or pencil so that you can write all the information out. And so I'm going to first start off by showing you guys the one that's online. So I have a screen recording going right here for you guys, and all I did was just type in study guide template on Google, and then I found that this website right here called freeology.com, I found that it has really good templates. I'm sure there are lots of other ones, but this one it's really easy to use. So for this example, this was the one that I used right here, but I have it going over here. So I'm just going to talk you guys through how I would start off by doing this. So what I would do first is, of course, I would put in my title. So for this example, I'm just going to be using this over here as like my lesson or like my textbook or whatever, and I'm going to be making a study guide off this information. So this is just an example for you guys. So right here we have the title, which I got from here, and I just put it right under here. So I would go through and I would put each header as a header on this, right? And that would be the first thing that I would do. Then I would go through and I would do one at a time. I would read each little section. And so as I'm reading the section, I would highlight or mark or, whatever, what I thought was important. And then I would go ahead and compress information into this study guide in my own words. So for example, if I go to the section labeled conductors and insulators, pretend that I'm just reading through here. So I've already found that my conductor, the definition I think is important, so I've gone ahead and put it down here in my study guide. But I also think that the section, sorry, this is shaking, my cat is walking around. I think the section that says good conductors is important. So I'm going to type that out right here. And I'm just going to make it as a list. So it says copper, gold, aluminum. Okay, and I would just go ahead and do that for each section. And I just started down here just because I already had some information filled in there, but I would start at the top and just go through, read a section, put the information on the study guide, read a section, put the information in the study guide. Okay, and so now I'm going to show you guys a way that you could kind of do this by hand. So I'm going to change the camera angle. So if we were going to do that same example by hand, I would take a ruler and I would mark out the top right here, and I would put the title of whatever lesson it was, and then under each one of these little boxes I would put what the header was. And as you can see right here, this is like a definition. So if I had the definition for voltage and I wanted to write it in here, and again, like I said before, I would just start at the top and do one section at a time and work my way through. That's just what I think is the best and most efficient way of doing this. And yeah, and I do like to start with just a few boxes because you're not quite sure how you're going to have it planned out when you get further down. But so like if I were going to have a diagram for, let's see, so there's a diagram for current, and it looks like a little cylinder. This is going to be bad, I'm sorry. It looks like a cylinder, and it looks like some little circles with a negative in there, and they're going that way. So of course it would look better if I had two hands, but this is just kind of an example of how you could do it. Okay, so here I'm just going to show you guys one that I have made in the past, and so this was one on attention I did for a class, and as you can see, I took the time to create a little box for each little section, right? So here, this is actually the Stroop effect that we talked about in class. So I made each little section, each header I made into a section, and then as you can see under here, I just wrote what information I thought was most important to write under here. So here you can see I have a diagram, and under here I kind of explained the diagram. Here's another example where there was a diagram and I sort of explained it. And here you can see that in red, I put the definitions of things, so I put that in red so that I would be able to see it a little bit faster and it would kind of stand out from other things that were in the study guide. And if you guys hear a cat, my cat's making a lot of noise. And here's just the back of it, and yeah, and then I just stopped down here because I didn't have anything else to put for this. And so for this was just the chapter name. So the chapter name was Attention, and I just dedicated an entire study guide to this one chapter, and this is one full chapter's information compressed into one study guide. Okay, so just as a little summary for you guys, I've showed you guys 3 different ways that you can make study guides on your own, and the first one was the one online, so you just can use the website that I showed you, or if you can find a different one that's better for you, and just type all the information in yourself. Again, keep in mind that it is most beneficial to make the study guide in this way if you go ahead and read the information and then summarize only the most important aspects of what you read in this study guide. And so the second study guide that I told you guys about was just printing out a template and then filling in the information yourself. And then the third way was just to go ahead and create everything on your own. And for these, I like to try to compress like one chapter or one topic's information just all into one study guide. And maybe you have a test on multiple chapters, you could do one study guide per chapter. That's what I typically do. And yeah, I just think this is a really beneficial way for studying. So I hope you guys try this out and try to use this in the future. I hope it works for you guys. Okay, I think that's all the points I need to hit. So I just wanted to say that I've enjoyed being in the class with you guys. I think I've already said that in a video, but again, I thought it was really fun. I thought it was a great experience, and I hope you guys can take something away from what I've taught you guys in class. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So thank you guys for watching my video, and I hope you guys use this tool to help you study in the future. Thank you.